Hi everyone, Sandy here, ready to start on a tutorial project for Country Craft Creations. You're using Graphic 45's beautiful Love Notes collection that you can order from Country Craft Creations. This is the 12 by 12 papers. I received 3 sheets of each of the patterns that come with this collection. It is gorgeous. You can see we'll be working with this. And then I also got the pad, the 12 by 12 patterns and solid pads, which is really great in making a project. And I'm thinking this is going to be a 2-part project. I'm going to do the album first, and then we'll see what I do next. I also got that will go with the album. I have an idea of something. It depends if it turns out okay. I have the stickers. I have the Love Notes chipboard. And then the Love Notes journaling and ephemera cards. And I also have this pack of sheer ribbon, black lace, 4 different colors of the seam binding ribbon. All this is from Country Craft Creations, and some baker's twine to use with this. And I, from my own stash, will be using black chipboard. I'm starting out with 3. I think that will be enough for the album. And then I have a pack of the Country Craft Creations Artisan cardstock. I have a full pack of that. So let's get started. I have pre-cut the chipboard, and I am using black. You can use the craft. It doesn't matter what color you use. This is what I had on hand. I've already pre-cut these for the cover of the album. You have one that is 5.5 by 7.5. This will be the back of the album. And then I have one that is 3.5 by 7.5, which will be the left flap coming over. And then I have another flap on the right side we cut one that's 5" by 7.5. And then I have 2 spines. I went with 2.5 wide spines by 7.5. So you have 2 of those. So we'll get those. And also, you do only need 2 12 by 12 sheets of chipboard to do this, so I did not need the 3rd one. And you're going to need your 1/4" score tape for this project. I also use the art glitter glue that you can get from Country Craft Creations. You can also order your score tape. You're going to need, from your pack of artisan cardstock, you're going to need 2 to start to wrap this. I know this is black. This is black, but that's what I'm going to be wrapping it with. You could use any color that you wanted to. I just think that the black is going to look really good with this. You could use the cream color or the natural artisan cardstock if you wanted to for a lighter look, but I'm going to go with the black on mine. So first thing we need to do is piece these 2 12 by 12 pieces together so we can wrap and assemble the cover. So take your glue and just put a line of glue all along the edge here. Oops, mine came out a little thick there. Okay. And we're going to piece these together just like this. So get it as straight as possible. I know I have excess glue there. And I'm going to grab a wipe and clean that off. And burnish. Take my bone folder, burnish that really well, and let it dry for just a second. So I'm going to clean this other side up. I really got too much glue squeezed out. I refilled my bottle, that's why. Okay. So there we go with that. Now we're ready to lay out our chipboard pieces for this. And so we're going to play with that and see how it fits on. So this is the back. The 5.5 by 7.5 is the back. And I'm going to center that on the seam line. I'm just laying it out right now. The 2 2.5" spines are going to go on each side of this. And they will be about 1/4 inch apart. We'll use the score tape. And then the 5 will go over here, so there's plenty of room there, and the 3.5 will go over here. Okay, so let me pull this down just a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So that's how it's going to lay out, so we're going to lay it out right here on the bottom. So I'm going to grab my ruler, and I want about 1 inch. So I'm going to line this up at 1 inch all the way across. So we're going to put the 5.5 by 7.5 center base down first. And you can either use glue, or you can use the score tape sheets or your score tape. And for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and use the glue because I've got it right here handy. I did order some score tape sheets from Country Craft Creations. I've used them a few on some personal projects. And I do like them. But the glue seems to be a little bit faster. I'm going to burnish that down really well. This is where you take your score tape. And you're going to put a piece of 1/4 inch score tape onto the cardstock right up against the chipboard piece. It's kind of hard to see on camera, I know, with the black on black, but there it is on that side here. So this is a chipboard, this cardstock right there. And here on the other side. Okay, so now we need the 2.5 inch wide spine pieces. We're going to put them on next. Butt it up against that ruler, keep my position straight, and put it right up against that score tape. And the other one. This is going to create a 7.5 inch tall by 5.5 inch wide album cover with the 2.5 inch wide spines. Okay, now we want tape on each side of this. These are spacer, I call them spacer tapes. I mean, if you're good at eyeballing it, that's fine. I just like to use the tape because I like for the cardstock that I add on to stick down into the tape. It makes my spine, I think, look a little better. So I'll put the 3.5 by 7.5 here on the left. And the last piece is your 5 inch by 7.5, which will go on the right. Line this back up, kind of shift it a little bit. Okay, so that's down. Now we're ready to trim this paper. Line this up, and I'm going to cut off, leaving an inch. Trying to just see where the edge of my chipboard is. An inch right there. So just a little bit off. Okay, right there, grab my craft knife, my big husky knife. A little more than an inch, but that will still work. So line this up straight. There we go. Right there. Okay, so this one we're going to do part of it at a time. It's kind of long, so just going to line this up. Put the inch on the chipboard. So it's hard to see the black on black. There we go. It's quite a bit wider than an inch. I'm going to take a little more off. That's better. It's using the wrong mark. Okay, there we go. I don't have as much bulk under there. And that straightens up that crooked piece. Okay, so there it is. Now we're ready to wrap it. Okay, next we're going to take score tape, and I have the 3/8 inch score tape. You can also use glue, but on one that's this long, I'm going to go ahead and just use the score tape around all 4 edges of your cardstock. The far external edge, outer edge. Bit right here. And then, of course, along the sides. So I'm going to burnish all the tape down that I've already put down. This makes it stick better and a little easier to pull off. And And I'm going to pull back the ends here just a little bit so they'll be out of the way of the spacer ones. And then I'm going to take 3/8 inch and I'm going to put it right along the edge of the chipboard too. There's different ways to apply your tape or adhesive onto your album cover. Whichever one you like that works best for you is fine. I think I may do it different every time. I don't know. It just depends. So there we go. Okay. Now then, let's burnish that down too. Okay, so now we're ready to miter cut the paper, the corners, and this is hard to see with the black, but I'm going to cut at an angle right across, leaving about a 1/16 of an inch from the tip. There's tools that you can use. You can also fold and just cut out the square. Or you can use different ruler type tools that are available. I have a metal one, but I tend to not use it very much. Okay, so now fold. And sometimes some people like to take a bone folder and just run it right along that, and you can do that. That helps break down the paper a little bit, makes it easier to fold right along all the edges. Right up against the chipboard onto the cardstock. And then I like to do my long sides first. I'm just bending them over. Getting a good fold. And run your bone folder along the edge out here. Just like that. And I'm sorry that all this is not in the camera frame, but it's a real long piece. So sometimes it's a little harder to keep it all in frame. But I try to turn around and show what I'm working on. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Now then, we're going to pull the tape backing off on the one long side first. And also off of the chipboard piece here. And if I need to pull these back a little more, these spacer ones, it's fine. And then we're going to pull, and then I want to take some of the art glitter glue and run it right down the top edge onto the cardstock. And then I may put a little bit in that space where I don't have tape. And then pull it over and stick. Burnish. Really burnish right there where that seam comes together. Make sure that's stuck down. I'm going to turn this around so I can see it a little better. And in these folds here where the score tape spacers are, just gently burnish really well your cardstock to press it down in there. You'll see that you're making an indentation. You don't want to poke it with a sharp bone folder, but you do want to really burnish so that it sticks down in there really good. I'm going to put that tape back down for now. Okay, so let's do the other side. That looks pretty good. Okay, peel my tape backing off. Pull these back some. And the glue right along the chipboard, oops, onto the cardstock. Oh, I'm on the wrong spot. Like I said, that black is hard to see. There we go. Right along on the cardstock, along the chipboard. And then I'm going to add some in here. And now we pull and attach down. Burnish. Turn it around so I can see it a little better. There, and especially at that seam, get a really good burnish. Okay, and also in the spacers. Okay. Now we're ready to do the sides. Now before we do that, check this little corner here and see if you need to tuck anything under or down up against that chipboard. I'm just burnishing it right there where it might stick out. I'll do that on all four. Okay, so let's take the tape off of these. Glue. Squeeze out just a little bit too much right there. My wipe. I had a hard time finding paper baby wipes that I like, so right now I'm trying the Viva paper towels. And I think they may work just fine. So then pull this, make sure this is tucked in. So that you get a good corner here. And burnish. Okay, so it looks pretty good. And then the other side. Okay, so we burnished this, so I'm going to gently fold at each spacer. And this is how it's going to go together, except this is the front. So the short flap goes on the front, just like that. Now we're ready to finish this inside. One piece of cardstock, cut two pieces that are 5 inches wide by 7 inches tall. These are going to go right here in between our spine sections. So I'm going to take my ruler again. I want them a quarter inch from the edge. So I'm going to put my ruler right here so that I have a quarter inch mark. And I'm going to work on one, pull this tape backing off. And I should have gone ahead and put score tape on this. So I want score tape on these to make sure it really sticks down without any bubbling. So I'm going to go ahead and cover one here on camera. I'm going to move this out of the way for right now. So I'm going to put the score tape all around the perimeter of this piece and then fill in the center. And again, if you have the score tape sheets, those would work great. And burnish your tape. Okay, so that's one. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll put them in the book. I have my two spine cover pieces covered with the score tape. And then I also want to take and put score tape on each side of this album cover, on each side of the spine. And I'm just going to do it between, from this point, not all the way up, because this paper is not going to cover all the way up, just up to where the cardstock comes over. And I'm going to put it on each side of that seam. So I'm going to put it on each one, on each side. This is to make sure that the cover catches, the spine cover catches where that fold is. Might be a little bit overkill, but I'd rather do that than have it come lift up or bubble on me. I can't wait to cut into that Love Notes paper because it's going to be so pretty. Graphic 45 patterns and colors are always so pretty. So here we go. Now then, let's do this side first since we've already got the tape backing off of our spaces. Just going to lift this up. And it's going to take a minute to peel all this off, so I'll probably speed up the camera. Or the video, speed up the video while I peel all this off the backs of the covers here. Okay, so we have that. And again, take the ruler that I moved away, and I'm going to place the 1/4 inch line on the bottom of the chipboard. So it's a 1/4 inch from the bottom, And if you get it on correct, then, and I'm just going to center this side to side, but make sure it's correct there at the bottom. Okay. And burnish. Now, you're going to want to burnish in those folds again. And this will push this cardstock down into that spacer sticky tape that's in there. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera, do the other one the exact same way. Once you have it on, gently work with the rounded edge of your bone folder to get this to fold. Don't force it, but just gently keep working it back and forth, and it will start coming up. Just raise it up a little bit and burnish. So let's check and see here. Okay, there it goes. It's really tight, really snug, so that you can square this up. So that's the way it's going to come together. And we're going to use magnets. And remember, this is 5" and this was 5½. So you're going to have about a 1/2" gap right here between the end and there. And that's the way you want it to make sure it's squared. So I'm going to grab my magnets right quick and we'll go ahead and do those. Okay, so I want 2 sets of magnets on here. I think it will hold better that way. So here on this side, about 1 inch down, 3/4 of an inch from the edge, I'm going to place that one. And to kind of get them in the same place, I'm going to line this up. Okay, those are down. Go ahead and pull the backing off the other magnet. I've got 2 sandwiched together in case I didn't. And then bring this book together. And before you press down, let's line it up, let's square it up. And your edges should be together, the top and the bottom. See how that connected? Then take some tape and just place it over each magnet to keep it in place, because it can come loose until you get your pattern paper on there. Okay, so there's the magnets. And we close it up just like that. Okay, so we have the cover assembled and the magnets on, and initially I was going to have this be the left side with this piece here. Then I got to looking at it on the inside how I wanted to do things. I'm going to turn it like this. So this will be, the left side will go under, and this will be the front side like this. So this is, when you open it up, put the widest part to the left, if that makes sense. So we're ready to start working on this on the center. Now I've already pre-cut all of mine, and I'm going to show you where give you the measurements that I cut, and I will show you scoring it. I've already scored it, but I will re-show you scoring it and putting it into the book.